What's up, wrestling fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, coming at you with another action figure review. This time I'm taking a look at the Mattel Elite Legends Series 18 action figures of Samu and Fatu, the Samoan SWAT team. These figures were Target exclusives, and I was very happy to find them and add them to my collection. I was always a fan of the SST, and I realized they were called the Head Shrinkers in WWE. However, I actually saw them live as the Samoan SWAT team originally, and I still think SST is a cooler name. I wish that the packaging designs were a little smaller to allow us to see each of the figures' feet. However, I do like that each one is packaged holding the staff accessories. I think that's a dynamic pose. And on the sides, we get headshots of Samu and Fatu. Each of the figures comes with a brief bio on the back. If you'd like to read these, please pause the video and do so now. And now it's time to bust these figures out of the packages and see what's inside. Here are the figures free of the outer packaging, but still in the inner plastic. And here we see the SST out of the package and ready to rumble. You really get your money's worth with these figures. They are very ornate and they come with a plethora of accessories. However, I do have some minor criticisms, so let's take a closer look at the loose details now. The various accessories allow for multiple looks with these figures. This part of the attire unfastens in the back, and these are removable. And that allows you to see even more of the paintwork on the tights, and that is very impressive. This part of the attire unfastens in the back as well, and once you have these undone, you can remove them from the figures too. Here is yet another set of accessories. I believe these are called lava lavas. I could be wrong about that, so please forgive me if I am. But each of these has a little Velcro patch that fastens in the front so you can put them on the figure. The pattern on these is very intricate, and as a result, these look quite authentic. And here they are on each of the figures, and now that makes these figures even more eye-popping. Check that out. Mattel really spared no details here. Whether you're looking at these from the front or the back, they are equally as attractive. And I need to straighten these out here. But this is some really fine work by Mattel. As I said earlier in the video, each of these figures comes with a staff. And as far as I can see, they are identical. And I think they're supposed to represent bamboo. And each one of these detaches in the middle, and that makes it easier to get these into the figure's hands and pose them. And I'm thankful for these as well. Here's a close-up of Fatu, and as you can see, the tights are very colorful. I think these are the chase versions of the figures. I know there's more than one version, and this figure has a masterful head sculpt. I will say that I think the legs are a little small, especially for Fatu, who would eventually become Rikishi. Both of these guys had enormous legs, and that allowed them, despite their size, to be explosive and agile. And I also think this figure lacks a little definition in the back as well. And here's a closer look at Samu. Once again, I really appreciate the intricacy of the designs on these tights. Also, you can move the elbow pads up and down, and I'll cover that more when I get to articulation, but I think this head sculpt is outstanding. I'm very appreciative of the expression on this figure. Once again, I think the legs might be a little thinner than they should be, but nonetheless, the overall composition of this figure is very accurate, and I really like the sculpting on the hair. Let's have a look at articulation now. Samu's feet move backward and forward on the ankle joint. There's some pivoting here. There's also a swivel at the top of the calf muscle. There are double jointed knees, and that allows you to move the leg into this position, so you can get him into a running pose. There's a quadricep swivel. Now this is where the articulation gets problematic. The hip joints don't allow the legs to move forward or backward well. However, you can get him into a good side kicking pose. There's pivoting at the waist here. You can get him to crunch forward that much and he rocks back that much. There's rotation at both of the wrists. He has double jointed elbows, and they move well even inside of the elbow pads, which again, you can move these up and down however you wish. The arms have a bicep swivel, and that gives you posing options. You can raise them up from the sides this much. You can do a 360 at the shoulder joint. The head moves side to side easily. He looks up and he looks down that much, and there is some head tilting, so I'm thankful for that as well. As you might expect, there's very similar articulation with Fatu. You can see the feet moving backward and forward here. They're swiveling at the top of the calf muscles. The figure has double jointed knees and the quadricep swivel, but he has the same issues with the hips as Samu. So he doesn't kick forward very well or step back. However, you can get him into a really deep side kicking pose. There's pivoting at the waist. The upper torso joint works a little better for Fatu than Samu. There's rotation at the wrists. He has the double jointed elbows, and that allows for good articulation in that joint. You can raise the arms up from the sides this much. And he also has the bicep swivel. You can do a 360 with the arms. The head moves side to side easily. He can look up that much. He can look down that much. And once again, there is some head tilting, so I'm thankful for that. So it seems that the main problems with the articulation are in the lower body with both of these figures. Here's a look at the alternate set of hands, and these are very threatening and very fitting for the gimmick of the Samoan SWAT team. Here's a close-up of the head sculpts, and in both cases, we have excellent likenesses of Fatu and Samu. And we often see these expressions in old photo shoots from the SST, so these were both good choices by Mattel. I hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. And please tell all of your friends about this channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And I'll be back with more action figure related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.